The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Clackamas, Oregon Fire District Number 1 on your new apparatus, job number 30003. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. From the driver's side, rear, and passenger sections, here are some general images of your apparatus. Let's go ahead and break down some of the components within your new apparatus, starting with the front bumper. Down at the front bumper area, you have two forward-facing sprays. Moving just inward, you have a electronic connection for your winch. Located in the center is the connection point for your winch. Right and left of that front area for attachment of the winch, you'll find two attachment points or toe ports. Up onto the bumper, you'll find a air horn. Located on the driver's side, you'll also find a mechanical siren. Moving up onto the body, right and left turn indicators. Also high beam and low beam headlight cluster. Located in the center, you'll find two forward-facing emergency lights. Located just above the Freightliner logo, you'll find a pull location to tilt your hood. On the driver's side, you'll find the air intake. Moving to the outer edges, there are two mirrors, one convex and one is flat. Moving up to the top or the brow, you'll find your running lights. And all the way at the very top of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency light bar. Let's take a look at some of those images as we move through some close-ups. Here's once again the attachment point for the winch. The red is a cover plate for your electrical outlet. Moving to the right, you can see at the very base that forward spray, air horn, and mechanical siren. The close-ended tow hook on both the right and left in the front of the vehicle. Moving up onto the grille, we'll find your two center-facing emergency lights, aside from the Pierce logo. Section of your headlight cluster, including the right and left turn. On the front section here, you'll find a side-facing warning light. On the top, you'll find your right indicator turn and left indicator turn. Once again, on top of the fender is the right and left turn. At the very top of the apparatus, you have your 5 marker lights in addition with your emergency warning bar. Let's go ahead and start down on the side of the vehicle. You can see at all points of entry, you'll have perimeter lighting and step lighting. Moving up to the top, the silver aluminum. This is going to be a diesel fill location. The black or blue cap is going to be your DEF. Moving further back onto the next set of steps, you'll find the auto eject for your shore power. You'll also find your shore power inlet for air. Moving up, you'll find your door latches, which also are keyed, and also convenient grab handles for entering and exiting the vehicle. Close-ups here once again. This is the ultra low sulfur diesel fuel silver tank. On the right, this is going to be your auto eject and also your air inlet. Your shore power auto eject is a 30 amp plug. Let's go ahead and start looking at midsection of your apparatus. We'll start just at the very top up here where the arrow is pointing. Let's first start with this. This is the tensioning for your booster line. As you can see, the 4 locations for reels for your booster line. At the very top, you've got 3 lights. The center light will illuminate when your pump is properly engaged in gear.
Moving down from that location, you'll find your reel discharge for water and foam. This is the drain valve for that. Generalized view here of the side of the apparatus here. Behind this cover, you'll find your speed lay, which is a dead load, meaning that it's not pre-connected. Moving to the right, general view here. Let's talk about some of the components here. Lower section here, your pump panel. We'll also talk about the components in the next set of images. And the very bottom section of your pump panel. Let's move back all the way up to the top. We'll talk about those components first, starting with your pump intake. This is your master gauge. Moving to the right hand side, this will be your pump discharge. This is also a master gauge. Located in between the two, you'll find the black round speaker, currently in the low volume position. Simply turn to adjust the volume. That is your audible speaker for a warning. You're going to find your relief valve here, on-off switch, in addition with an open and close at the very top, and also your relief valve flush. To the right, you'll find your throttle XL, water level, foam level in A, blue for water, red for foam. Moving down, this is going to be just beneath the dead lay. This is your number 3 driver's side discharge, capable of foam. Located just to the side of that, you'll find your vacuum and pressure test port gauge. They're currently plugged. And to the right, you'll find the instructions here and also your Husky foam system. Moving further right, we'll start at the top. This is your pump panel lights. Moving down, this is your PTO pump engaged. It's an indicator. You have a reel rewind, driver side scene lights, passenger side scene lights, and also the rear scene lights. Moving to the right, you'll find your tank fill recirculating, and also just beneath that, you'll find your tank to pump. Let's go back over to the left-hand side. This is your large diameter intake. Be advised for pressurized caps and hazards associated with that. You're also going to find your draft foam tank and also not to mix foams. Panel controls for your auxiliary top-mounted pump. This has a digital readout in addition with the ability to prime from the exterior and also the interior of the cab. As you can see, the controls down the lower section for slow and fast, start and stop. Relief valve drain must be closed to operate the pump. This is a turn, not a pull. This is the valve here to allow you to either pump in pressure or in volume. Moving down to the right, the number 1 discharge, 2.5 inch. Moving down to the left, this is going to be your auxiliary inlet, 2.5 inch. As you look down at the bottom, this is a backpack fill. Moving just to the right of that 2.5 inch auxiliary, you'll find your engine cooler and also pump drain. Moving down to the lower section, you'll find an access door. Behind the access door, this is going to be a valve. You can see on the left-hand side of the back of the access door are instructions here for foam fill operations. Underneath the apparatus, you'll find all of your drains, located 3 of them here. As we start up at the upper right-hand corner, you'll find your maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. Generalized view here, the side of the apparatus will break down the components starting in the upper left-hand corner with a side-facing flood and also an indicator for your tank level. Looking into the first compartment, you'll find in the upper left-hand corner, this is your breaker panel for shore power. Moving down just to the front and rear of the rear wheel, you'll find additional bottle storage in these round cutouts. Inside of those compartments, they also house a strap for bottle safety. You also have mid area here an emergency side facing light. Moving to the rear compartment, you can see adjustable shelves currently in a fixed position. Moving around to the side lower section here, you'll find your 10,000 pound maximum allowable winch rating in addition with 12 volt access. Generalized view here of the rear of the apparatus. Let's take a look one more time. You can see a variety of different connections here. These are all connections that are all 12 volt for towing of items and also for your winch controls. Underneath, you'll also find a pull-out style step to gain access up into the hose bed area. This is going to be your rear cluster here for backup, turn, brake, and also an emergency warning. I'd also like to remind you that riding on the back of an apparatus can be hazardous. Here are some warning labels regarding that. Upper left-hand corner, emergency light, and also rear-facing scene lights. This is going to be a 2.5-inch direct fill into your tank. On the opposite side, you have a 2.5-inch discharge. Located at the base, you'll find a dual pole access door. Gaining entry into this area, we'll find a single shelf adjustable. As you look up to the very top of the apparatus, this is the location behind those dual pole doors, which is going to be your ladder storage, long pike pole storage, and then additional storage up on top. Let's go ahead and move to each side of the apparatus. This is going to be for hose storage behind the cover. There are latches here that release to allow you to gain entry into those two spaces. As we open the latch here and flip the cover upward, you can find you have an adjustable hose bed. At the top of the vehicle, you'll find a fully enclosed hose bed cover. There are two latches on top and two handles. In the very front of the apparatus, you'll also find those latches and handles, but you'll also find additional access on each right and left-hand side. Located here is the foam A tank. Moving to the opposite side here, access door, you'll find a top fill for your water tank. Just in front of this location, this is going to be midsection. You'll find, once again, your A fill and also additional storage here for your crosslay. Up on top, you're going to find your additional auxiliary pump housing here and engine, remotely capable from the pump panel and also remote from within inside the cab. You'll also find in this area the hydraulic reservoir. You can also see on the left-hand side the motor for your reel wind. Generalized view here of the side of the apparatus. Let's break down some of the components here. Starting in the left-hand compartment, you'll find similar layout, two adjustable shelves, center compartment, large open compartment here. Underneath that area, you'll find that 10,000-pound allowable winch rating and also 12-volt access. This is also the location of your exhaust. Moving further forward, we'll find an additional long compartment here. This long compartment does house at the very lower section an access door. When we access behind this, this is going to give you pump access to the lower section. More specifically, what's directly behind this pump door not only is access, but as also is your foam drain. This is once again a turn, not a pull. Moving up to the top, this is going to be that dead lay, same configuration as the other side. In addition, with beneath that, a 2.5-inch discharge, which is gated down to, it looks like 1.5. You'll also find your passenger side main inlet. As we look further down, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, and then just above that and below, you'll find additional drains. Let's go ahead and move to the front section of the cab. We'll start down low in the lower left-hand corner of this image. First with the lower compartment. Once again, two-handled pull compartment here, step lights, and also perimeter lighting with underneath. Once you gain access, you have a large compartment space here. This is also utilized as a portion of the step to gain entry into the back of the cab. Front section, front door area. Once again, perimeter lighting and additional step lighting. As we move up to the cab doors, you'll find on all points of entry warning and hazard labels. Please take advice of those warning and hazard labels. There are also a tremendous amount of helpful information, and this is going to be the driver's side door. Let's move up onto the door panel itself. At the very top, you'll find your mirror control for right and left. Also located on the seat itself, just beneath the driver's seat, you'll find an additional label here. This is manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing. This offers the manufacturer date, job title, gross vehicle weight rating, in addition with your VIN. It also has tire information and also fluid capacities, types, and fluid also types. So as we move into the cab, you can see you have an adjustable seat here with the blue hose just underneath the seat. And at the very base, you'll find your electronic siren foot pedal. Moving up onto the dash itself, let's start with this placard here, located on the left-hand side for height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating. And then as we look down, that was also speed control and also your set Excel headlights and panel lights. Generalized view here of the center section of your cab. Let's go ahead and talk about the yellow knob here in the center. This is going to be pull to apply the parking brake, push to release, and also your PTO shift for your pump. You also have a AM/FM MP3 Bluetooth weather radio. Starting here in the left-hand corner, the symbol indicating for your regen. You have an engine brake, mirror heat, a low and high range. You have an all-wheel drive for your locker. There are 4 window controls, in addition with an indicator for your water tank level. There is an air horn or electric horn. You have a selection between the 2 of those. Located in red, you'll find the high idle switch, and just to the right-hand side, this is an indicator which indicates OK to engage the high idle if it's on. To the right, you'll find your load manager. You'll also find 2 additional information switches, or indicators, one for door open and the other for low voltage. Moving further to the right, you'll find your perimeter lights, the lock for the front and rear doors, and also your siren. Let's go ahead and move just beneath this. As we look underneath, you can see just a portion of it. This is going to be your climate control, simple fan control, selector switch, and then temperature control. This is going to be for your auxiliary pump. Once again, we talked about on the exterior of the vehicle. This is the interior controls. Just to the right of this location is where you'll find the road sweeps for driver's side front and passenger side front. Also to the right, you'll find additional 12-volt access. These are 2 barrel style here, and in the very front, you'll find the USB style 12-volt access. Starting on the left, you'll find the driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and also a rear scene. Moving down to the next set of switches, emergency master, your roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and your upper rear warning. You'll also find 2 additional future locations here. This panel is located in between the 2 seats in the very front overhead. In the rear, there are 2 forward-facing SCBA seats, which house SCBAs. Overhead, you'll find push-on and push-off overhead lighting. Move up to the very front of the vehicle. In the center, you'll find this red flashing light indicating that you have a compartment or a door that has been left open and not to move your apparatus. Congratulations, Clackamas, Oregon. Job number 30003 on your new apparatus. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any further questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales associate. Thank you and congratulations.